we're going to do here right now is exempt from public disclosure any other employee of a public agency except when residency is a condition or term of such person's employment. So you're going to take their residency off all public records. Keep that in mind. The Freedom of Information Act is a document production statute. And there's not this construct that whenever there's a request, it has to be an FOI request. And only an FOI request is going to be pertinent to this. It's any time any person asks a government agency or public agency for information, it's an FOI request. And if that public agency has the document, they must produce it. So what we're going to do here is take away the people who work for government, their address on every public document, wherever it sits. There's a cost to this, cost to the state and every one of these public agencies. So, going to the statutes, what is a public agency? Any executive, administrative, or legislative office of the state or any political subdivision of the state, and any state or town agency, any department, institution, bureau, board, commission, authority, or official of the state or of any city, town, borough, municipal corporation, school district, regional school district, or other district or other political subdivision of the state, including any committee of or created by any such office, subdivision, agency, department, institution, bureau, board, commission, authority, or official. That's basically everyone who works for government in the state of Connecticut. Everyone. Amazing. Amazing that we're going to say that government itself needs to be protected. Protected from what? And why are they going to be treated differently than any other person who is public-facing throughout our state of Connecticut? Why don't we create a state, rather than redacting addresses of people who happen to have the benefit of working for government? How about if we make a state that's safe for everyone, wherever they are, whatever they do? How about that one? We're not asking the question, why is our state less safe today than it was yesterday or the day before? What are we doing in Connecticut that's not addressing that? And why aren't we addressing it? Now, I heard that, people in the private sector have these benefits. Guess what? If you've been to the hospital or any emergency room, I heard the reference to a nurse, you'll see that everybody in the hospital wears a badge. They wear a badge and you can find out who they are. And do a Google search. You'll find out where people live and who they are and what they're going about. We're going to shut down Google? We're going to say people don't wear badges anymore? In fact, we wear a badge when we walk in here. Maybe a Kevin Kelly could blend in, but many names are very unique to every single person. And what about the same public person who sees an accident, dials 911? Guess what? My name, my phone number, my address pulls up, or I stay on scene and I explain what happens. My records go on the public record that's subject to freedom of information. What about when we hold public hearings? One of the first questions are, where do you live? Are you a Connecticut resident or are you an out-of-state resident? We've even saw during COVID when we were doing Zoom meetings that if you were out of state, you didn't get an opportunity to talk as much as if you were in state. Why does the public have to be subject to identifying where they live, but the government itself doesn't have to do that? And where does this come in? How is this of a public benefit? Well, let's say I'm a municipal blight officer, and I'm walking around my community giving out infractions to different people who I believe have a blight, but I don't have to live to the same standard. My house could be a blight, but I'm not going to disclose my address because I don't have to. And the next thing you know, I'm holding the public to a different standard than I'm holding myself. Or worse, let's say I'm a zoning administrator who's buying different residences, because it says residence, an employee's residence. It doesn't say their domicile. So people can have multiple residences, but only one domicile. So let's say I'm the zoning administrator, and I'm walking around my community buying up all the properties that I know the commission I'm going to advise is going to zone preferential to benefit me, the administrator. And that information of the properties that the administrator owns is going to be withheld from the public debate. It's not going to be known to the people you serve. How does democracy benefit when we are withholding information? I'll tell you what's happening, just like I said last night. This bill is going to take the chisel out and start chiseling away at the information that is critical to our democracy. There's nothing more important in this country than the free flow of information and the democracy that we live under. It's a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's their government, not government's government. But this is another step, another chisel towards that information that's necessary to hold our government accountable. So in this you can have a government actor behaving in a way to keep information from the public discourse that would be very beneficial to the people voting. That's not a good public policy to be advancing. Quite frankly, it obstructs democracy. Obstructs democracy. What we need in this state is more transparency. We need accountability. How many times have we seen in the past couple years? Accountability over COVID funds. Accountability over school construction. We don't need less sunlight, we need more sunlight. But what are we doing? Again, pulling out that chisel, chipping away at public information that is critical to the debates that we have in this chamber and to the essence of our democracy. I don't want to be here every single day talking about issues like this. We have better things, more important things, about helping struggling families get through a very difficult economy with inflation, who are trying to educate their kids and just get through a day in Connecticut. We have an unaffordable state. We have many issues that we should be dealing with. Instead, what are we dealing with? We're trying to make government less open and quite frankly, more secretive. Government shouldn't have preferential treatment over the people that live in our state. The people need to come first. It's their government. It's their government. Let's give it back to them. Let's not take it away. So, Madam President, I'm getting all wound up here. But I think it's that important, especially here in this capital city. It was here that this whole notion of constitutional government, the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, was founded. This is our tradition. It's a tradition we must embrace. It's the tradition that America is known for. People want to be here from across the world, not because governments are secret and holding back on information, but because there's freedom and liberty. And that starts with disclosure and openness. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us exemplary. It's why we have been able to flourish and why we have the benefits that we have in this country. So again, this is just one more step toward less democracy. And we ought not be on that road doing that. So, Madam President, for that reason, I'll be voting no.
Thank you, sir. Will you remark for